So, hi everyone. Obviously, I'm Sammi. Yeah, you always see the pictures and my posts, but this is the official first video. Obviously, so nervous, but it's definitely the next step. Yeah, where I want to take things and the growth, I suppose, for me personally. Yeah, so I want to take you on a bit of a journey today. More so my journey. Yeah, from like before the page was even started, really. Just to give you a bit of a backstory. Obviously, you see everything on the page that I post anyway, but I think it's nice to actually see somebody and get a feel for somebody opposed to just seeing like the photos all the time, which are also, you know, nice and they motivate and help. But I think sometimes it's nice to actually you know, hear someone and see them in their own environment. So yeah, I've been faffing around for the last, I don't know, 45 minutes, trying to set everything up, making sure like everything's as it should be. Yeah, stressing, but yeah, you have to excuse my my flat hair. I've just been for a walk and I've had a bobble hat on because it's absolutely freezing today. Yeah, so cold, but I love it. Yeah, so I've had to put my laptop out with the page on, more because I feel like, gosh, these last few years, obviously from losing the weight, it feels like I've lived like 10 different lives since then. Yeah, and it's more to like refresh my memory probably, really, because, you know, I've got 3 young kids, so that just says it all, doesn't it? Yeah, my memory is not what it used to be. So initially, obviously, I don't know if you're all aware, but there's myself and my sister Rachel. So Rachel lives in Australia, and she actually initially set up the page, and it was just for me and her, just to track obviously what we was eating. We're a family of foodies, you know. Any occasion, whether it's birthdays, celebrations, you know, parties, whatever, always food involved. Like, yeah, it's always got to be nice food. Yeah, and I think we've just struggled with that, obviously, over the years. Yeah, and then obviously for me, throw into the mix having 3 kids, you know, back to back. Yeah, it was hard work and it definitely took its toll. So yeah, Rachel initially set up the page just for us to post our food, really, just to try and motivate each other. Yeah, so it was initially just that. I don't know if she realised or not that it was as public and it should have been a private group, so just obviously for me and her. Anyway, it started to get a bit of traction, a bit of people following. Yeah, so I just sort of carried on posting. Obviously, I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. To be honest, I still don't really have a clue what I'm doing. I just carry on posting my stuff. Yeah, and it obviously seems to help you guys, which obviously is the main purpose of the group. Obviously sharing what I buy, what I find, what I cook. Yeah, and just being real with life. I think for me, I've always just struggled with weight anyway, and trust me, I've tried every single diet. Slimming World, Weight Watchers, Cambridge diet, Special K diet, the 1, 2, 3 diet. I mean, there's that many ridiculous diets out there, and I've tried them all. And I would generally do all right on them for a while. Like Cambridge diet, for instance, I did that, gosh, I mean, we're talking 2009, 10, maybe 2011 actually. And I think I lost 4 stone in 12 weeks. It was ridiculous. And like, I can honestly say that now from being in the place that I am now, that losing that amount of weight in that such a short time, my gosh, ridiculous. But I was living on, I mean, not even 800 calories a day. That was like the shake diet. I paid an extortionate amount of money for it. I kept it off for a little bit, but eventually you start eating. Yeah, of course it goes back on. Slimming World, I've been on and off Slimming World for years. You know, I'm not here to slag any particular group off because, you know, what works for different people, they are all ultimately a calorie deficit at the end of the day, or however they want to dress it up, name it, change it, tell you what to eat. Ultimately, you will still be eating in a deficit regardless of whether it's Slimming World, Weight Watchers, because they are all just restricting calories, you know. So, yeah, like I say, struggled all my life, always been bigger. I think the lowest I ever got down to was maybe like a 14, 16. And I was sort of genuinely quite happy with that because I'm tall, I'm 5'8", so I'm quite tall. Yeah, so I do carry it quite well. But then I'd always just go back up to like size 20, 22. And at my biggest, I was, so let's sort of go back to 2000. And so yeah, February 2022 is when I started this calorie deficit, shall we say. Yeah, gosh, like that was the heaviest I've been in my whole life. I was 23 stone 7, like just ridiculous. And even now saying it, yeah, it's nuts. But at the time when you're living it and you're in such this bubble of you're a mom, it's life just hectic, you're working. Yeah, I just gone through, so obviously a lot of you guys know, well obviously it's out there, but I've just recently separated from my husband. That's a different, yeah, that's a different thing in itself. But at the time, sort of going back to 2022, I was living at my mum's house with the kids because we'd sort of, we'd had another separation. This was the initial separation, if you like. And I'd moved into my mum's because she had a big house and it just made sense for me and the kids to go there because there was enough space. Yeah, so life was really hard. Really, really hard. Just lost my dad, yeah, life was just tough. I was just feeling empty. I think a lot of how you guys feel, you're just feeling so lost, so, I don't know, you're just lost with life. You don't know what direction to take. You're sick of how you look, how you feel. But the last thing really on your mind and what to tackle first is weight. But even though it's also probably one of the biggest things that's making you feel the way that you do. So I get it. You're in this vicious circle. I've been there. I've lived it. I lived it for God most of my life, most of my adult life. Yeah, so I just felt down, pretty much down and out. And it was a case of, I can remember as well, I used to have like a desk. So I'm a cake maker, I do that, I say full time. Obviously I have got another job, but cake making then was full time. And I had a desk in my mum's sort of like under the stairs, but it was a massive space. And I'd have like my cricket machine where I'd make like my cake toppers and stuff. And I can remember just being sat at the desk, yeah, one day. And I was just like, I don't know what it was, but something, I was just sick to death of my own crap, to be honest, like, to put it bluntly. Yeah, let me just have a drink of this. Honestly, I've had to put this in the microwave as well to heat it back up because I was faffing about that much. It just went cold. And I can't drink my tea cold because it's just disgusting. Yeah, and also I'm full of cold. I forgot to apologise. I'm full of cold today, so I felt a bit rough last week and then we seem to have got over it, me and the kids, and then yesterday woke up with a banging head, and then today I just feel absolutely dreadful. So yeah, apologies because I don't sound great. I can remember being sat at the desk on the mum's stairs, like doing these toppers, and I just felt like the weight of the whole world, yeah, was on me, literally. Yeah, it was a lot. Sorry, I didn't even want to get upset. I didn't even think I would get upset actually, but I think it's quite nice to show that actually it's hard. Like, life is hard a lot. And I think for me, at that time, yeah, I think that was the only thing. I feel like life was just spiralling in the sense of, obviously I just separated from my husband. Like, I'm trying to make sure the kids' well-being's fine, putting on this brave face. Yeah, it was just a lot. And I think I felt so out of control with every other aspect of my life that the weight was the only thing that I felt like I probably could control at that point, even though it had been something that I could never seem to control, if you know what I mean. Probably sounds a bit backwards, and it is backwards, but yeah, obviously, losing someone to cancer, you can't control that, that was so out of your hands. It's definitely puts a new perspective on life, let's put it that way. Yeah, I couldn't obviously I could control the separation, but it was, again, it's one of them things that it needs to happen because you're just not in that same place with that person. So yeah, I had all that going on in the background, which again is a lot. And if you know me by now, you know that yeah, the pressure's always on. There's always too much pressure on myself, actually. But I'm working on that. Trying to work on that. Yeah, sorry for getting upset, but actually, I should stop apologising because, yeah, this is real life. You know, this is what ultimately I want to share. Not me, obviously crying, but, you know, just real life, and it's relatable, and you guys live it. I live it. I don't want me to ever come across as I'm living my best life, and I know it probably looks like that from a lot of my photos, but trust me, yeah, life's hard, guys. Like, I'm just the same as everybody else. I'm just a normal person with a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, so I feel like the weight was the only thing that I could control, and I really focused, and I grabbed that literally. Whatever clicked in that moment on that day, I grabbed it, and I literally never let go of it until, I think it was until I actually hit the 11 stone loss on the scales, which was February 2024. So it was literally 2 years not to the day, but to the month. Yeah, so those 2 years of like, God, losing that amount of weight. Yeah, it was hard. Of course it was hard, especially when I like look back now. So hard. But here I am. And it seems to have obviously, yeah, created this space, this page on Facebook, which is obviously incredible, by the way, and I love you all. You know, it's turned into something that I never even would have thought was even possible. Yeah, and obviously you all engage so much, and a lot of you are like, you're just like my friends. Like, well, you are my friends. It's not saying you are, like, because you are my friends. Like, I interact with you guys more than I do probably my normal friends that I could just go see all the time. So yeah, anyway, I digress quite a lot there. I so totally went off track, but yeah, I just needed to, for you guys to see that it's always more, there's more to it than what you just see from the pictures and the posts that I post. And this is the whole purpose of this video, is to show you that, you know, the journey that I've been on has been a journey. It's been a hard one, but, you know, I'm here and I feel so much stronger mentally, physically, obviously, it's completely different. Yeah, and I'm still learning, I'm growing, you know, every day is still, you know, a brand new day. So yeah, anyway, like I say, Rachel set up the page. I was posting, she was posting a bit, then Rachel obviously went AWOL for the best part of like 2 years. Well, I would say maybe not 2 years, sorry, Rachel. Like a year and a half, so she never posted like at all. So here's me in this group, just posting my meals, literally no interaction. No comments, not any likes, but it wasn't, again, at this point, I was so focused and I've really gripped onto that, right, sick of my own shit, it's now or never, like, I'm at the bottom, the only way is up. And, yeah, my friend Kev, actually, and he said a bit of a quote that stuck and it's really resonated, and he only said it a few months ago, and it was, basically, along the line, I mean, don't quote me, but it was along the lines of, if you fall and you're on your back and you can look up, you can get up. And that's where I felt like I was down and out. And it's only when I look back now that actually, yeah, I landed, but I was on my back and I was looking up. So I just got up, like I literally gave it everything. It became my focus, and that was really hard with 3 kids. I mean, what was he at the time? 5, 6 and 7. So, you know, still needed more, obviously school runs, the whole lot. And as mums, we know we put kids first all the time. Like, we have no time for us. It's constant uniform, washing, cooking, you know, shopping. The list is endless. Trust me, I get it. I never used to do it for myself. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't go for walks. I literally did really nothing for myself other than what I needed to do in that day. That was it. Sorry, let me have a drink of this because it will go cold and then I'll not like it and I won't drink it. Yeah, so 3 kids, hard work, but I literally just started meal by meal. I wasn't really sure of how I was going to approach it. All I knew is that I needed to restrict calories. Like I said, I tried every diet. Didn't want to go to a club. i.e. Slimming World, Weight Watchers, didn't want to go get weighed in front of loads of people and be asked to sit and tell my story because it's just ridiculous. Like, come on. I mean, for some people, yes, it helps. For me, I'd gone past that point of it being able to help. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only way, and I suppose I'd not even really noticed that I'd been looking at weight loss and following a few people on Instagram, and you know, you look at all these size 6, size 8, 10 models. I'm like, oh, you know, start a weight loss journey with me and yada yada yada, and it's just so unrealistic, and it probably puts you in a worse mindset because you look at them and you think, like, you've got no, where's your weight? Like, you've got no weight to lose, and that, you know, I see it now obviously from a different perspective, but at the time, yeah, to see that, you just think, oh, shut up and go away, like you've got no clue, and that's not. That's not being awful to that person, but do you know what I mean? It's just like, come on. Yeah, so in my head I had that, right, calories, I just need to restrict what I'm eating. I'd seen that I needed to do complete, obviously you'll know this phrase, a TDEE calculator. So basically you put in your height, your weight, your age, all that kind of stuff, and it gives you a figure to go off. Yeah, I think mine was like, so I'd filled that out and it gave me, I think I was on around 2,200, 2,300 calories a day, which obviously my weight was high. I was 23.7, so, you know, it's a lot. It was and I said, actually, no, it's not a lot. At the time, in my mind, what I thought, oh my God, that's a lot of calories, because I'd been used to Weight Watchers where they say, right, eat so many points, and it equated to 1,200 calories, because so many calories were a point, if anybody from Weight Watchers obviously can remember that. Yeah, so I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to lose on 2,200 calories because that's a lot of food. But it was a case of, do you know what? I'm clearly not doing anything right with what I'm doing now, because I'm just putting on more and more weight. I'm feeling more out of control, more unhappy. So yeah, I just sort of just trusted the process. I downloaded NutriCheck. I remember how I found out about NutriCheck. All I know is that I did use MyFitnessPal previously. I mean, it was half-hearted, I'll grab that, and I just didn't like it because I felt like there was too many, I don't know, too many like wrong versions of stuff and weights and stuff. I think because it's like user generated, they can just input stuff and it's just wrong. Whereas NutriCheck, I think maybe Nikki told me about it. My other sister might have told me about it. So anyway, I downloaded that and I literally used to pay, I think, $3.99 a month for it, because I thought, well, I'm not committing to a year, which is like, I don't know, 25, 26 quid, because I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, if I'm going to use it. So I paid $3.99 for pretty much until, I don't know, 7 or 8 months ago. I just sort of like set it up and it just kept rolling. I loved it actually from straight away. I think because it's got pictures and you can see the actual products. Obviously you can scan it. I know you could scan stuff anyway from using MyFitnessPal, but it was just a lot, for me, it was a lot more clean. And this isn't an ad for NutriCheck, by the way. It was just a lot cleaner, a lot easier, a lot sharper, a lot easier to navigate. Yeah, so I loved it. So I just started scanning stuff there. I carried on eating normal food, because I think a lot of people are under the illusion that actually, you know, you need to be eating fruit, veg, salads, all the healthy stuff, the nice stuff, you know. But actually, for me, and saying my diet was crazy bad before, it maybe wasn't crazy bad to what people would think from me being the weight that I was, do you know what I mean? Obviously, you look at somebody that's obviously overweight and you think, oh my God, they must just eat like freaking burgers, takeaways or pizza all the time. Well, it's not the case, you know. But I think until you've been that person, you've lived as that person, you don't really get it. I obviously used to eat a variety of foods, home cooked foods, but obviously just too much of it, hence obviously why I got to the weight that I got to. Throw in the mix 3 young kids, not really having time to prepare. Or again, thinking, looking back, that's something that when you're stuck in this cycle, it's things that you tell yourself that you don't have time to prepare, when actually we do. It's just another, not a lie, because it, you know, when we're in that, it's not a lie, that is general real life. But yeah, so I started buying a lot of the ready meals from M&S, the Count on Us ones, and honestly for me, lifesaver, absolute lifesaver. Like, I lived on them for so long, more because for ease, because I had the calories on the packets, and I actually really enjoyed them. And I'd bulk them out with a lot of like veg packs, or I'd just do a broccoli, like cut that up and steam that and have that with it. Yeah, so I started on 2,200, 2,300, depends, obviously it was within that every day. Yeah, and I was losing I don't know, gosh, if I went back on my tracker, God, I don't know where my phone is, I was losing like big numbers every week. So it was clear that I was overeating a lot to be having those kind of losses. And I had big losses, I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 pounds every week for a good couple of months to start with. Obviously then that dackers off because, you know, that's not sustainable. And you get to a point of, you know, you're using what you're burning calorie-wise and stuff like that. Yeah, step-wise, I think I've always done high steps because obviously I'm a baker, I'm on my feet all day. But I never had a watch until, I think the March or the April, I bought one. And I was a bit reluctant because obviously they're expensive. And I had an iPhone, I thought, oh, I'll just get an iWatch. I think it was like £200 something, which yes, it's a lot of money. But do you know what? I've had it, obviously I take it off every night to charge it. But I've had it, so I bought it early 2022. Yeah, and it's still going strong. I mean, I probably don't use it for half of what, like, it could be used. But yeah, I love it. So I got that. And that, I think once I started seeing numbers of actually what I was doing, normally, like on a normal day-to-day basis without really factoring in any more steps, yeah, I was like, oh my God, I actually do quite a lot of activity. You know, so actually that's probably why the weight was dropping off so much when I look back now and I can, you know, rationalise it and I can see it for the scientific proof that it is almost. Yeah, so that was amazing. Obviously that gave me a real big, sorry, I keep looking back at my computer, but it's only because I don't really want to miss anything. Because I want to try and get in like the full early days process and the journey that I've been on really, because I know so many of you ask me for it. And I've been asked so many times to do like a video and stuff and it just makes me so nervous. But like we say, this is growth. So here I am, the first video. Yeah, so then I started the gym probably around the May time in 2022. So I'd got into like a good rhythm with what I was eating and tracking that every day because the early days are so key. Honestly, I can't stress that enough. And I know when you first start, it's hard and you think, oh God, I can't do it. It's so complicated. There's so many numbers. I don't want to weigh my food. I don't want to track my food. That's why I did a lot of the meals because I wasn't really having to weigh a lot of stuff. Not because I didn't know how to do it. It's just because it was more effort and more time. Yeah, I mean, you guys, you know, you do what works for you. But for me, at that point in time, that worked wonders. Obviously, I wouldn't have them for every meal. I would still have breakfast. So I used to eat quite a lot of toast, which you see, like crumpets, bagels, porridge, stuff like that, pancakes. I was still having that like I do now, but that's easy to track because you can just scan it. Yeah, so that's, and then tea time. It was mainly tea times really that I would have the meals. So lunch times I'd have like I do now, again, soups, thins with like the soft spread and stuff like that. So easy stuff that you can just search it and track it quick. And when I started the gym in about the May time, because I thought, right, I'm doing quite a lot of steps anyway, let me just add in a bit more, something a bit different, like activity-wise. But actually it was more so to get me out of the house and for it to be my time, because like I didn't really have any, it was literally just kids and work all the time. Yeah, and obviously I'd started to lose a little bit of weight at this point, but when you're so big, you don't really notice, or for me anyway, I didn't really notice that I'd lost weight, I suppose, until I'd lost maybe like a good 3-4 stone, that you like people would start to comment and notice. Obviously I could tell like in myself when you look at in certain clothes and stuff, but for me, when they say, oh, you lose a dress size when you drop a stone, for me that was never a thing because I was still wearing the same size clothes when I'd lost like 4 stone. So that, yeah, obviously, yes, it was a bit looser, but absolutely that was not true for me. Probably still isn't even now, to be fair. Yeah, so I started up at the gym, and again, not really, didn't really have a clue what I was doing at the gym. I was following a few more, I'd say influencers, but a lot more people in the fitness industry and the diet industry at this point. Some that I still follow now because they're amazing. Like their advice is just so normal. Yeah, and just how it should be in the weight loss industry, you know. Yeah, because there's so many conflicting ideas, advice, you know, it gets confusing, but actually once it clicks and you get it, it's a very simple process, literally calories in, calories out, you know, but we'll get into that in another video because obviously I'm sure this is going to be a bit of a thing now. Now I've done one video, there'll be a few more. Yeah, so I started the gym and I actually just started doing the treadmill, believe it or not. And I think I just started, it wasn't anything crazy, it was just on like 20 minutes, high interval. And I just worked up to the point that, I don't know, I was doing 70 minutes, like by the time I'd finished just doing cardio, because I've introduced doing weights like at the back end of last year. But yeah, I was literally just doing purely 70 minutes cardio, treadmill, absolutely caning it. High incline, fast pace. And honestly, the weight was literally just dropping. My calories at this point, again, they would fluctuate over time. But there was realistic though. I never dropped them by like massive amounts. So I was still like probably, I don't know, 18, 1900 sort of a year in. So I was still good high calories, you know, but obviously I was burning a lot. Stepwise was really good. Yeah, I was happy like with the progress, but obviously there's some weeks where I didn't lose and I'd be like, oh my God, I've stuck to it all week. I've, you know, had a great week. I've done so many steps. I've been to the gym 4 times and it's saying that I've put on 2 pounds. Like, what the actual heck? What's going on? So for me, usually in the past, I would have been like, right, that's it. I'm just going to eat loads of crap to make myself feel better. Because I've tried and I've put all this effort in and it's got me nowhere. But that's what I've always done. That's what I'd always done with previous diets I'd tried. And that mindset is not a healthy, great mindset at all, because you're just undoing your own hard work. And like you'll see on the group, like me and the moderators are all, and like the admin team are amazing, by the way, are always posting, look, weigh daily. Because our bodies, honestly, they fluctuate so much. I can't stress this enough, guys. Our bodies fluctuate so much. And that can be, especially for females, so that can be like periods, PMT, menopause, toilet issues, medication. Gosh, for me, like I've really got to know my body over like the last few years now of like what works, what doesn't work, what will make me heavier, like, you know, way heavier. And for me, I know, like, I mean, my steps are crazy, guys. I know that. But my body's used to it. But I know that if I get to a certain point, so if I hit over like 20k steps a day, I know for the next few days after that, I'm heavy, I'm achy, I'm inflamed. Because, oh gosh, that's like, it's a lot of steps. Like, I know that. It's crazy. And then chuck in a couple of gym sessions, like, my legs feel massive and just heavy and tired. And to be honest, I've stopped weighing. I ain't weighed really, not properly, since probably like February, March, when I hit 11 stone. I think subconsciously in my mind, when I first started, I was like, right, I'm going to try and set little realistic goals because, you know, I don't want to overwhelm myself with, right, that's what I want to lose. But I think we all know that deep down inside, like, we have this ultimate goal of where you want to get to, or where you see yourself, you know. And for me, I'm like, right, I'm 23/7, let's be realistic about this. So I would love, this is like at the start, I would love to lose 10 stone. That's what I told myself. But it was a case like, I think I even probably laughed in like my mind when I said to myself, right, I want to lose 10 stone, because like 10 stone, I mean, come on, it's a freaking full person, like, it's a human being. Yeah, so I just sort of laughed it off. But my gosh, yeah, like I'm sat now like 2 years down the line, like, yeah, I actually did lose, well, I actually lost more than that, I lost 11 stone, but yeah. But I thought, right, let me just do it week by week, day by day. I think because I was having such good losses, obviously it then spurs you on. Don't get me wrong, it was hard. The first few days of being in a deficit, from going from eating what you wanted for however long, you know, months, years, whatever, you're going to feel hunger. You're going to feel all the feelings, and every part of your body will be screaming at you, like, feed me, I'm starving, I've got a headache, sugar withdrawals, you know. It'll be telling you everything. It'll be giving you all these signals that are flagging up in your body, and your initial reaction is to like, right, I need to feed it, I need to eat, I need that comfort, I need the cake, I need the sugar. Trust me, like, I've been there, and I still go there, you know. I'm normal, I'm human, that's normal, you know, to feel like that. But what I started doing, this is where like the, you'll see obviously I still eat anything and everything. I never really tried to focus on the food aspect, if you like, because like I keep saying, I'm a mum. I ain't got time to be stood for hours, you know, doing all these fancy whatever meals and cooking from fresh. It literally was convenience. For me, it's convenience. And sometimes, I mean, I've got better, don't get me wrong, over the last sort of probably year or so, I've got better like with cooking and experimenting and stuff. So yeah, probably one of my biggest bits of advice was don't really beat yourself up about food choices so much in the beginning. Obviously, yes, it's so important. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not important, because it is. Of course it is. But what I'm saying is don't be so hard on yourself if you feel like you are just grabbing convenience. Because sometimes that's what we need to get going. That's definitely what got me going and got me through those first good couple of months of the hard bit, if you like, because I think once you've mastered that and you've got that into the mindset of tracking, so you've downloaded your tracker, you've got your calorie deficit number. I mean, I don't even think I did a bit of a meal plan. No, I don't even do a meal plan now, actually, so that's a lie. I just sort of wing it. I just go shopping, chuck stuff in my trolley, put it in my fridge. I'm like, right, I'll open the fridge and be like, right, what can I make with that? What can I make with that? Obviously, in my mind, I've got a bit of an idea. So if I buy mince, I'll do a spaghetti bolognese because the kids like it, I like it. If I buy sausages, I could do like a breakfast type tea. So obviously I know as I'm buying stuff, I know like in there somewhere that what meals I'm probably going to be making. And I think you just know when you go food shopping. I mean, I do anyway. Yeah. So I tried not to focus too much on like the food, the nutrition side of it, because I thought that's going to come with time. And it obviously it has. A lot of people probably don't agree with food choices that I make now, but you know what? This is your journey. You just have to sort of like, I mean, trust me, the amount of times I've put photos on and people are like, that's not healthy, because I've had a bowl of Cocoa Pops, or I've had a chocolate bar, or a McDonald's with the kids when we're out and we're having a family day, because you know what? That's life. I'm a normal person. I've got kids. We go out for days out. We've got the summer holidays. I'm not going to not sit and eat with my kids. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like even now, I have a snack plate every night with my little chocolates on because I love it and it's what works for me. So honestly, don't feel any kind of pressure. Just focus on you and what is going to help you to get to that next meal, to get to that next day, because that honestly, and I know it sounds so cheesy and cliche, it really does, and I know I keep saying it and I do say it because it's true. Like one meal at a time, it really is that simple. So if it helps you to do a meal plan, great, plan your meals, because I know for a lot of you guys in the group, it does help. I know like for some of the admin girls like Stephanie and Emma and stuff, it really does help. They have like a set meal plan that they do every week, and it works. Like they go shopping, they buy what's on the plan. Excuse me a minute. I feel like I've just got like really bugged up all of a sudden again. Yeah, they go and buy what's on the meal plan, and then they plan it around that, which is great. It works for them. So just honestly focus on what works for you, and you do you. Obviously, I've always responded to if I've had any kind of like negativity and stuff, and I'm just like, look, I'm normal. I'm not an influencer. I'm just showing you what's worked for me and how I live a normal everyday life, like a busy working mum, from a normal house, a normal background, nothing fancy, nothing flash. I shop in Aldi, I go to Lidl, love Home Bargains, like that's where majority of my stuff's from, Aldi. Because that's just normal life, and I'm proud to be that way, and I know you guys love that, so that won't be changing anytime soon. I am going to do actually though another video on my top tips, because I think that's just a video in itself, because I'm looking now like I've got a post on the featured bit on the group obviously, which you guys can see, but I am going to definitely do another post on that because that needs its own. So again, calorie wise, I think as the weight dropped off, I would just adjust it by like 1 to 200. I'd then stick with that for a couple of weeks. And again, like I said, I didn't lose. There were so many weeks where I would stay the same, but I'd be so frustrated. But again, it was that mindset that I'd started to get into I'd started to create new habits, but I was aware that I was doing it this time. Whereas before, when I'd lost weight, I was just so focused on like the numbers on the scales, of them decreasing, that like it wasn't a healthy place to be, and I wasn't creating I was basically just going over all these old patterns and all this old mindset, which eventually comes back to bite you on the backside, and then you end up back at square one. You're either heavier than when you started. But this time I was aware that I was creating these new habits and these new mindsets. It's strange, but I think because I was doing it and I was posting in the group had started to get a bit of traction. Like, we were just getting all these new followers coming on board. Other people had started to post some meals, which was great. So that like got me super focused. And like I said, like I just gripped onto it. And even now, obviously it's like my baby, like I post a lot like throughout the day. Yeah, you guys, like our family, like I love it. It's my little safe space. Yeah, so didn't lose weight every week and it would frustrate the life out of me. But I knew it scientifically, in my mind, logically, I'd be like, so I'd get on the scale and I'd be like, oh my God, I've smashed it this week. I've done so well. And it's saying I've put 2 pounds on. And then it's like, right, so I'd get off it. And initially, obviously, I'd be like, are you joking? I'd be fuming. But then that was like a split second. I would revert back and be like, nah, you joking? But then I'd be like, right, be logical. I've been in a deficit all week. I've done loads of exercise. Oh yeah, do you know what? Actually, I had that meal last night and it was really, had a lot of salt content in it. You know, sodium makes you hold water, which makes you then way heavier. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different, I was due on my period. Obviously, I'm bloated, I'm hormonal, I've had toilet issues because then, again, that's another topic that I'll cover in another video at some point because I am going to try and start covering like different topics. So please feel free. I'll maybe start a bit of a discussion around what topics you want me to discuss and like, you know, have a bit of a chat about because there's just so many. I am going to do a topic about hair loss as well because my hair's been horrendous. Since losing like weight, obviously it's had a massive impact on my body anyway. But yeah, my hair, Christ, that's a different story. But yeah, so let me know, comment on what you want to discuss, topics, and I will obviously try my best to discuss it and help as much as I can. So obviously I was moving a lot already. I had my tracking like on point. I felt like I was amazing. I was losing. Obviously, I would look over it. So at this point, I think early on though, I was still weighing probably weekly at this point. So again, it's a bit of like we say now, again, only because I'm at the end, I suppose, of the journey of losing, that I can say confidently, don't weigh weekly. Honestly, please don't, because you're just setting yourself up to fail. So if you're going to get weighed on a Sunday, for instance, you've been good all week, but you came on your period on Saturday, and if you suffer with like bloating, whatever, water retention, or you just weigh heavy, you're going to weigh heavy and you're going to be so disappointed, which is then going to make you spiral and it's going to set you back. You know, if you've not then dealt with the mindset and created any new healthy habits, you know, it's really going to pee you off. And it's that vicious cycle into of you're not sure what you've done wrong or how it's not worked. I wish it was just a case of you eat in a deficit and you lose weight every single week. It's just not as simple as that. Yes, scientifically on paper, yes, it should be, but factoring life, kids, health issues and all that other stuff, stress, massive one. Stress impacts us, I know for me, impacts us massively. Like, again, like I've gone through, God, so much stuff this last year or 2 years. For me, that's definitely had an impact on how my body reacts to stuff. But again, that's a new thing that I'm learning and coming to terms with. Like I said, I'm still finding out stuff about this new version of me. Fluid. So I was just like looking at my little pins that I've got. So I had NutriCheck, I had my watch, I was doing my calories, doing my steps, but I wasn't lacking. So I've got this today really just because I'm dry, because I'm so full of cold. But I'm not going to lie, I've been slacking on fluids massively lately, actually. And so I need to up my game. So I started to drink more. Again, that's going to be a topic that I'm going to cover separately because I could go on for that as well. We all know we need fluids to function, yada, yada, yada. But again, I will cover that because that's a lot. Again, comment of what you want me to cover. Volume eating, I will touch on that a little bit now because for me, I'd never even heard of volume eating actually when I first started. I don't even think that I know that I was volume eating until I saw something on Instagram and I was like, oh, I do that, but I didn't know that it was called that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I was buying like these meals from M&S or whatever, wherever it was from. And I was just adding loads of salad, loads of veg to it just to bulk it out basically. So basically volume eating, so that's all it is. So you are bulking out your smaller calorie meals of like your meats, your potatoes, whatever it is you're having, and just put in a lot of low calorie foods with it, whether that's like salads, veg, whatever. Yeah, for me, that works wonders because I like to eat. I like to look at my plate and be like, yeah, that's going to fill me up. I don't want to eat a tiny little bit of food and be like, oh, I'm still starving. Because for me, visually, as you know, I like to try and jazz up my food a little bit. Visually, it has to look a lot, but it has to also look nice. Don't get me wrong, if you was to scroll back to like some of my first photos, yeah, you'll see I just used to slap it on a plate or whatever and just like have done with it. But I do try and make a little bit more of an effort, but some days it just gets chucked on a plate. Right, weighing scales. So weighing everything, and this is what a lot of people feel put off with calorie counting. To be honest, it's one of them. Yeah, at first it's annoying having to weigh everything, but you need to do it because otherwise you just like wandering around in the dark. Like there's no point. You need to do it because how are you going to know that that little teaspoon of Nutella or whatever was 20 grams or whatever? Because I think as humans, I know myself, trust me, I'm guilty of it. Like I'll just be like, oh, I'll just get a spoon and eat it, and it's about 100 calories. Yeah, and I think once you've done it for a few weeks, I would say give it, maybe even a few months for some people. A set of the kitchen scales. I think mine broke recently, and I got a pair from Sainsbury's. I think it was like 11 quid. And I did put a picture of them up, but if anybody wants a picture of them or any ideas of which ones to get, then obviously just ask. But I will cover this again in top tips anyway. But yeah, weigh everything. Absolute lifesaver. Case of literally just get your scales, put your, I don't know, like this is what I do. So I get my scales, say if I'm doing porridge, for instance, I'll cook my porridge, obviously with my milk, put it in the microwave, and then I put my bowl, on. Obviously I've warmed my Nutella up at this point. I'll then put it to 0 and then I'll drizzle my Nutella on it. It'll obviously say so many grams, so that's obviously how you track it. Yeah, honestly, they are literally like a key essential item if you do want to be so accurate with your... For me, I did weigh in the beginning, but I didn't really feel like it was so important. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't going crazy with like just, putting on loads of sauces and stuff. Whereas now, trying to lose weight, now I've not got much really left to lose. I mean, I want to lose probably, another stone or something more for me just to feel a bit more comfortable. Yeah, it's weird because I started weight training like the back end of last year and like it's changed my body a lot. Like I said, I've not been weighing for a while, but like when I look in the mirror, I like what I see, and obviously I can see that my shape's changing, obviously from the gym, and it's just taken a little bit longer for my mind to catch up. Hence why I've not been weighing, because obviously I don't want that to not make me spiral, because I feel like I'm in a strong enough place after doing the work for the last, few years, that actually the new habits I have created are enough to make me feel strong enough, shall we say in a word, to know that is just a process. It's not about the number on the scales. And honestly, I can't stress it enough, but I know it's not until you're at a certain point in your journey that you will appreciate me saying that it's not about the numbers on the scale, because for me, in the first good year and a half, it was about the number on the scale, so I get it. When someone's saying it's not about the number on the scales, you feel like saying, well, shut up, because it is, and it really is to start with, and it's only when you get, like I keep saying, when you get to that point in your journey where, that it doesn't matter what the numbers say on the scales, because you feel and you look and you're happy with that, and that's, the main focus, but that will come, and that's something hopefully I can keep sharing and keep motivating you guys with, and guiding you from what I've learned and how I've managed to, deal with it. Yeah, you will see actually as well. So every Sunday, I used to have not a day off as such. I used to have like a flex. So I would get weighed on a Sunday, weekly weigh-in, and obviously to start with it, like every week it was showing good losses. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, right? I've talked for that long. The battery died, so I just had to put a new battery in it. Yeah, rambling on. Sorry, I knew that would happen though. I knew that I would like get started. Yeah, video, and then I won't be able to shut up. But yeah, I won't go on too much more. I can't remember where I was actually. Yeah, kitchen scales. I know we was on about that. Kitchen scales, honestly, a must. You can pick some up for like £10, some decent digital ones. Yeah, and that was it. You'll see, if you God, going way back actually, that I used to have like not a day off, like I said, but more of a flexi eating day. So I'd get weighed on a Sunday. And I'd be like, yeah, I've lost so-and-so this week. I'd enter it into my tracker and I'd be like, yeah, great. So I'd maybe just like be a bit more picky. I'd be like, oh, have a few crisps here, or do you know what I mean? A biscuit there on my cup of tea. And not even, I would track it because I've always said, like, if you're having a bad day, still track everything 100%. Because then at least you're keeping that focus. Like, you're not just completely like giving up. Because I think once you say, do you know what, sod it, I'm not tracking, you just go off the rails. Well, for me anyway, like, there's no moderation. I would just go all in and I'd be so greedy. So for me, I was like, no, still track. But then I got to a point that I would feel guilty for not tracking because I was so focused and so like in with it. It was just so normal to track that when I didn't track, it felt not normal. So yeah, I would have a takeaway or something a bit more indulgent, or a pudding and stuff on a Sunday. You'll see that I used to post it as well. Like, I was never ashamed. I would never be like, oh no, I'm not going to post it because I don't want people to think like bad of me that I've got this page and I'm trying to promote weight loss and I'm eating normal food and I'm having a takeaway. When actually, do you know what? That's, how many guys, like, come on, how many people have takeaways every week, like, or every month, whatever people can afford, you know, whatever you guys do. Like, it's nice to look forward to having that when you've had a week of healthier eating, or, you know, being restricted. It's nice to, or even going out with friends. Like, I've never stopped living life. So you'll see, obviously, I'm out all the time eating because food is life, right? Yeah, I eat out a lot, but that's just purely because that's what I enjoy doing. I don't go out. I'm not like into like going out clubbing and stuff. I don't smoke. I don't really do anything. I don't really have any hobbies as such. Obviously, I've got really into walking and stuff. Like me and my friends used to, throughout summer, we was going for like a few hikes and stuff, which we will hopefully be doing again next year when the weather's a bit nicer. But yeah, I've really got into that sort of being outdoorsy. So that is like my thing, if you like. So I've never felt bad in the sense of going out and eating all the time, because it's just what I like. I enjoy it. I like nice food. And I always post it. Obviously, you guys see I post every single thing that I eat. Yeah, and I think, do you know what? Why not? Like, post that you've had a piece of cake and a chocolate bar, and I want to see it. I want to see the normal, everyday, I've had a busy day, so we stopped and got a McDonald's on the way home. My kid's been up all night, teething. We've got a Chinese. I want to see that because that, for me, that's real life and it's normal. And obviously so many thousands of us are living that. And it's relatable, you know. It's not it's nuts. Like, let's just be real and keep it real. That is my mantra. And I will always be like, I will never change, because for me, I've been able to lose, obviously, this obscene amount of weight by being like this. And I think, well, all right then, if I can then adopt this way of life while still going out to eat, having 3 kids, running 2 businesses, working all the time, going through a separation, losing the dad. Do you know what I mean? If honestly, guys, if I swear to God, and again, it's so cliche and it's so cheesy, but trust me when I say this, if I can do it, being at 23 stone, 7 pound, so overweight, so unfit, in such a horrible place, like in life, but at such a young age, gosh, like, come on. And that, you know, like I offer, or I try to, obviously, because I know my life just gets crazy busy, and some days like I'm a bit more available, or I'm, you know, some days I'm there all the time and available, commenting, replying. Some days I feel really bad because life just gets busy with cakes and all that jazz, and I feel like I'm not so available. But honestly, and I know you guys message me and stuff, I need to put a post on really, because I get so many messages and I feel so bad for not being able to reply to every single one of you. And honestly, I need 10 of me, because because obviously I want to help every single one of you, of course I do. But it's just impossible on my own. But hopefully over time, obviously with, you know, some ideas and some new exciting things that are coming, yeah, that'll obviously, stuff will be a lot easier. Yeah, all I will say is, you know, life is for living. You're going to go through, it's going to be hard and it's going to stay hard for a long time, depending obviously how much you've got to lose. And consistency, as I always bang on about, that will take you everywhere. Keep doing the same thing day in, day out. Eat the same food if you want. You all see I eat a lot of the same foods because for me, for one, I enjoy it, otherwise I won't be eating it. And I just, yeah, I know the calories, I enjoy it, it's quick, it's convenient, and I know eating that type of foods that I eat agrees with me, you know, it works. Yeah, just find what works with you and stick with it. That being said, obviously I know it gets a bit deeper than just, you know, stick with it. It gets a bit trickier because sometimes I know for certain people, it's not a case of that we need to tweak, adjust, readjust calories, look at what kind of foods you work in, you know. Essentially it all boils down to a calorie deficit, you know, for any weight, whether you're fasting, carb free, whatever, you know, ultimately it all boils down to the bare bones of a calorie deficit. But yeah, honestly, yeah, it's going to be hard. It'll take everything you've got. But I just think, honestly, if you really do want to change life, you need to go through the hard. You need to buckle up and sit with the feelings of hunger. And I'm not saying you should sit and be starving. That's not what I'm saying. So please don't take that out of context. What I'm saying is, from a point of overeating for all those years, naturally, when you then restrict calories, and this is why we always say in the group, start calories high, because what is the point in saying, right, I'm going to just have 1,200 calories? So you're going from, say you was overeating and obviously you're bigger, you've overate for ages, so you've been eating what, in excess of 3,500 calories every day for however long, to then drop to 1,200 calories, you're going to notice a big difference. You're going to feel tired, you're going to have a headache, you're going to be moody, you're going to be starving, you're going to feel all of this, you're probably going to feel sick. So many different feelings and physical feelings you're going to feel. And that's why the calorie deficit number you get, you're given that for a reason. It's based on your details, your height, your weight, your age, lots of different factors. Obviously, yes, there's lots of calculators out there that'll give you a different formula. Again, that's a topic that I'll go into because it just confuses a lot of people. But what, again, I don't know, I keep saying it, but once it clicks and you understand the logic and the science behind it, it makes sense and it makes life easier when you understand the science behind it. It's trying to, they work hand in hand, like the emotions and the logical side of things. Now, it took me a while to get to this point of detaching emotions away from the logic and the reality of it. Yeah, it's hard, but that does come, trust me. And it's a trusted process. But as you navigate and you move through your journey of losing weight, you will start to pick up these new habits and this new mindset, and you will start to see, trust me, you will see it for what it actually is, and how it works. Like, you know, it's a strange thing, but you stop seeing it as, oh my God, it's just a number on the scales, and so consumed by it, because I think we let it consume us and be so fixated on that, that we can't see the bigger picture of it. Yeah, so it is tricky. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I said buckle up, because it's hard. It's not just a diet. It's not just changing what you eat. It's changing how you think, what you read. You know, it's changing everything. It's massive. It has like such a big impact on everything, and it's going to be hard. And trust me, some days I was never perfect at all. Even now, I'm not. Some days I wake up and I want to eat the whole fridge, the whole cupboard. Like this few weeks, I think since the weather's changed, I don't know if it's just you, but, well, I know it's not just me actually, because so many of you have said it on the page. This weather, like the sort of drop, honestly, and I know obviously when it's cold, your body's using more calories to stay warm, yada, yada, I get all that, but I've just felt starving, and I've just wanted to eat the whole world. So I think subconsciously, I've just my calories have been higher every day. My steps are still crazy, that's a bloody given. But at first I felt bad that I'm posting, but I'm eating 2,100 calories. My maintenance are like nearly 4,000 calories a day. Like, it's quite a high number, but you know, I'm tall, I do a lot of activity, so that's just my maintenance, and that's what keeps me at this. So I'm happy at the minute just to sit on around maintenance calories, because I'm struggling. Not that I'm struggling, I'm not. I've just got that many other factors going on in life right now that actually my body needs this fuel. I'm stressed. There's just a lot going on. And I feel like at the minute my body's telling me to look after my body. And for me, that's eating enough food. And I feel like what I'm eating on my maintenance calories is about where I'm happy sitting at the minute. Obviously, that will change. I've not decided what I want to do sort of Christmas-wise. Obviously, I'm going to track. That's a given anyway. I track through all Easter, summer, whatever the occasion, I'll track it. That's, you know, for me, the discussion's not going to be, am I going to track for Christmas? Am I not? I'm always going to track for Christmas or occasions. I'll just, you know, be a bit more lenient in the terms of that. Actually, I'll enjoy that extra frigging Yorkshire pudding or a bit of pudding and, you know, stuff like that. I'm not going to go wild and just go crazy because I don't want to do it, because it makes me feel in my body like I don't enjoy that feeling of feeling overfull and sluggish. It doesn't make me feel great. I just don't like that feeling anymore. Whereas before, I used to love that feeling of feeling overfull. It's crazy, isn't it? What, like, how your mind changes over time. I mean, I've rambled on for so long, actually. I can't believe what initially was meant to be like I don't know, 20, 30, maybe tops 40 minutes video. It's now turned into probably, I'm not even sure, what are we now, half one, like an hour. So I hope I've not bored you to sleep. And I hope you've liked listening to my very raw and authentic video of me, and just the tiniest little snippet of, I mean, because I could talk forever and a day about the process, the journey, but it's quite hard to really put it into words of how it actually is in reality. And like, I'm trying to go back 2 years and like relive it to tell you guys, and it's quite difficult, you know, because I'm in such a different headspace now, obviously, and amazing, completely different. They're not even comparable to what I was back then, and obviously, you know, you saw it got me quite upset of actually delving back to that. Obviously, that person is still in there, like deep in there, and she, you know, that mindset, of course it comes out, you know, because it's me. I'm still that person. I'll be obviously, you know, half that person, but that person doesn't disappear because I've lost some weight, and that person and those struggles and all that is still suppressed in there. So it's I hope you've enjoyed this little snippet of me, and hopefully now I've opened the floodgates into this whole new video of myself. I mean, I'm still going to cringe, and I probably will never ever watch this back, she says. But I will try and make it a bit more of a thing, so we can, I think it's just nice for you guys to see me on a bit more of a personal level, instead of just like static photos and stuff. So thank you for sticking with this lengthy video of me just rambling on. And speak to you guys soon.